This is Andrew for CollectionDX.com, and today I'll be taking a look at Arcadia's reactive armor for their VF-0A or VF-0S. For the purposes of my review, I will be using my Shin Colors VF-0A as the model for this. And I would like to get this out of the way real quick. You cannot equip this reactive armor set on the two-seat VF-0D because pretty much all of the important parts where the armor clips on are shaped differently. The only thing that you can put on your VF-0D is the armor. So if you really want to do that, you can, but unfortunately no PSP Dream Team here today. Alright, so starting off we have our single seat VF-0 Phoenix. Again, this is my Shin VF-0A. In order to prep the figure to have the armor, all you have to do is swap out the top side or backpack fuel tanks to have the ones that have the slot in the back here. And if you have the leg fast packs equipped, please take those off. Starting off, we have the leg armor. Nice beefy piece. It breaks down into about 5 different bits, and the instructions say that you're supposed to completely kind of just take it apart to put it on the figure. I found you really don't need to do that. I'm going to show you just how to do it with a minimum amount of disassembly. The armor itself is actually really nice. It has like little bits to it, like moving knee pad. The whole thing just kind of pulls in and out so it can move forward. Again, just a lot of nice detail. Most of this is just molded plastic with a little bit of paint. It works pretty well though. So what you're going to do to take the leg armor apart is the back piece is going to come out. There's tabs around this area, around here, and down around the ankle cuff. So just pull on that, and it comes apart like this. Now, this front part of the ankle guard, this armor section for the leg fin is all separate. This is also separate. The both halves, I should say. And again, they really want you in instructions to just completely break this thing down. You can leave this all together. I think that's the best way to do it. There's actually enough space in here for where the fin goes that it doesn't feel like there's a lot of rubbing, or really not much at all when you're putting it in. So just kind of put it in like that. Grab the other side, and there's a pair of slots. One's right here, one is right up here, and that's going to correspond to a pair of tabs that are on the inside of the leg. These are just tabs that are used in the transformation to fighter mode, so it's nothing really new here for prepping the figure. So just kind of feel that in, get the bottom leg cuff tab in, get to the other side back here, and you should be able to easily just squeeze those in like that. And again, just sort of feel this all in together. And here we go. We have the main leg armor all set. Next up, we're going to do the hip armor. So with the hip armor, it's got a couple of features to it. You have a little moving skirt flap right there. You have a removable hand grenade right there. Nice little beer keg shaped thing. And the way you put this on is you take the grenade rack off, and there's a small peg, kind of a blunt peg, and that's going to go into this hole right here. That is just a screw hole. So just kind of get it in from this side, and you'll feel that just sort of snap in place. Move the arm out of the way, and the grenade rack has a tab that's going to go straight through into a slot on the intake area. Alright, so moving right along, let's move up to the arm armor. Now, both arm armors are the same. They do have a thing to deal with this little tab right here. Again, this is a thing for the transformation that helps keep the arms together in fighter mode. All you really need to know is that when you're putting on the arm armor, the top part does have little slots that are going to correspond to that tab there. So That is for that side. For this side, there is no tab, so you just sort of feel it out, get the two parts in, and you're pretty good. There's a little bit of give on this side because there is no tab, but the whole thing does stay nicely in place. Next up, we're going to do, this is the main front armor. It features moving crotch plate right there. And basically all it's going to do is there's a bunch of little clips that are going to go into the parts, this part here of like the chest intake right there. This whole thing is basically going to grip around the chest plate area. Just try to make sure you get this little side cover here underneath where the arms move around, so you're not getting anything caught. There you go. This thing will all just kind of nicely clip in place. And it covers up the front fuel tanks right there. Going around to the back side, this large skirt armor piece, all it's really going to do is go up and around this part of the backpack hinge. All you have to keep in mind is the hinge needs to be up and out like this, so that as much of this bottom hinge is exposed as possible. I'd say keep that in mind because it is possible to get the backpack to come up without really raising this part. So yeah, just sort of keep that in mind, and you're just going to get this up in there. And just kind of maybe wash those edges a little bit. That's only the big problem with this set is some of the tolerances are a little tight out of the box. So there we go. That is the back skirt right there covering up the wings. Next up, so this is the main backpack piece. There's a couple of tabs which are going to just sort of fit into the slots on the back here. And this slot here is going to go over this part of the backpack right there. So just sort of fit that on there like that, and then line up those tabs. Mine really doesn't stay in like that, unfortunately. It's a little weird. Mine did have a problem with trying to fit the old Ghost booster set as far as like the top side missile launchers and all that as well, so I don't know if that's just a problem with my first run Arcadia VF-0. But anyway, so the last thing you're going to do is, here are the shoulder missile pods. Pretty nice, you know, they got the kind of similar gimmick where this thing is supposed to just lift up, but it's really just kind of pegged it, or it's just slotted in there so it comes up really easily. But here's a whole bank of missiles in there. And all you're going to do, the shoulder missiles do not, or the shoulder pad I should say, does not actually go on the VF-0 shoulder directly. There's this little joint area right here. Kind of looks like a Revoltech joint, but it's not. It's just this little universal joint. This thing can also work itself out, but it does go back in very easily. And it has a slight downward angle to it at this end, so make sure it stays in like that. And all you do is you just peg this in. It goes on nice and smoothly. Alright, so here's our VF-0 half armored up. Let me come back as I finish playing dress up with my robot toy. So here is the fully armored VF-0 Phoenix, taking a beefy Valkyrie toy and making it even beefier. Well, not a whole lot to say about it when it's armored up. There's a couple of gimmicks you can play around with, such as movable rocket pods in the back here. As you saw before, you can pop off the grenades that are on the side skirts here, and I guess if you really want, you can just have it hold it, pretend it's about to throw it. That's pretty much it, aside from the big gimmick, which is of course the missiles. Again, all you do for the shoulders is you just pop off this part, and here you go. One shoulder rack exposed. the second shoulder exposed, and again, these like to just pop off, but they just slot right back in there. And you also have the main missiles in the front. And similar to the old VF-1 armor set, you basically pulled this forward, again, until it comes off of the mount. And grab, there it goes. Open the doors up to expose the missiles. And yeah, it's a nice, very impressive, very beefy looking thing that it is. Let me adjust the camera there. The only thing that's really kind of hard to do is in the OVA when Roy comes out with this on his Valkyrie is he is carrying his gun pod. It's a little difficult to actually get it, the armored VF-0, to hold the gun, just because the armor around the wrist makes it difficult. You can sort of fudge it, you know, just sort of like get it in there. Although I haven't been able to get it so that the handle actually tabs into the palm tab. But, you know, again, you can sort of fudge it just like that. They don't really show it with the gun pod in the promotional pictures, so I think they knew that it wasn't going to quite work. It's a shame it doesn't just come with nicer hands, because these hands do come off. I mean, you can pull them out and without damaging the toy. There's just a simple peg system that is pretty similar to the pegs that they use to attach the shoulder armor on this set. So yeah, that's kind of a shame. As far as articulation goes, it's what was an above average Valkyrie toy without armor. It pretty much retains most of what you'd expect. One thing that does help is the fact that the shoulder pods are separate from the actual shoulders on the Valkyrie, so you can just kind of mess around with the arms all you want and you're not disturbing these things at all. They really don't impede too much of the arm curl. You can still get a pretty decent bend right there. Again, you have this moving crotch piece. Mostly that's so you can kind of help get this part out of the way as you're moving the intake armor in and out. When posing, you are probably going to want to use the VF-0's pull-out hip joints a bit. That'll just kind of bring all this out of the way for more flexibility. When you have the front skirt up, it allows you to use the gear walk joint for articulation. Again, the knee guard right here moves out of the way. I find that when I'm moving the ankles around, I mean, the ankles on this toy are pretty good. It's just kind of the typical like metal ball joint setup. But I feel like I usually just kind of like fake it by having it just like sit on the toe a bit and close up the rear of the foot for stabilizing it during poses. But yeah, it's pretty basic. I mean, if you've messed with any other like armored Valkyrie toys before, you kind of get the idea of what you're supposed to be doing. The toy does a pretty good job at like handling the armor. This was never like the most posable thing in the OVA. It did a lot of sliding around with like its foot thrusters and all that. But the toy, as it turns out, looks pretty good in a bunch of poses. It feels solid. Everything clicks in place where it needs to. Yeah, not really a lot of complaints. This is a very straightforward accessory set that we were all kind of expecting when Arcadia rebooted the VF-0 line, picking up where the dearly departed Yamato toys left off. And speaking of which, I'm sure some people out there are wondering, can you use this... Yeah, come on. Can you use this armor set with the original Yamato VF-0s? You cannot, because this is made for the revised proportions on the new VF-0, and it's going to piss me off that this gearlock joint isn't retracting, but anyways, yeah, so this is really only for the new Arcadia VF-0s. Not much else to say about it. It's a pretty nice piece. It is expensive though. It's about $150 just for the armor. And remember, the Valkyrie itself is around like $300. But, you know, looks nice, has a lot of nice detail to it. The only major omission, which they expect you to do with stickers, is the triangles that go on the front of the shoulder missile hatches. But yeah, so this is the Reactive Armor VF-0, just for fun. Bring out the old Yamato VF-1 armor, the GBP-1S. So here's the VF-0 and VF-1. You can kind of see how things got a little bit smaller as stuff went along. I would say build quality wise, this is about mostly on par with this set. I still think this is probably like the best like modern 160 scale armor set for a Valkyrie. It's certainly still leagues better than what Bandai put out, even with the second version of the VF-25 armor. But again, so pretty good set. Again, this is one of those things that's really for the diehards who love their Macross Zero designs and want this stuff on the shelves. It's been a long time coming for the reactive armor for the VF-0, but it is good that we finally got it represented in toy form with a much improved VF-0 Phoenix as a base. So this has been Andrew for CollectionDX.com. I've been taking a look at the reactive armor set for Arcadia's VF-0 Phoenix, which can be used on, again, just the A-type or the S-type. And I'll be looking at some more Macross toys in the future. Thank you for watching.